Hello, no, your eyes are not deceiving you. This is a new video about Project Culture Shock. This episode, when I say 10, this episode is broken down into 3 parts. First part is plumbing in the cooling system and the heater. Just like to say a massive thank you to Auto Silicon Hoses for having everything. You know, all the elbows, all the joiners, all the different sizes, all the adapters. It's all branded nicely. They just do nice stuff. They're not sponsoring this video. This is purely just because I'm so pleased with the stuff they've been able to supply. Please, I'll put a link to their website in the description. If you need hoses, fuel hoses, air ducting hoses, coolant hoses, custom made hoses, anything, go and check out their website. If they haven't got it, it's probably not worth having. They've always got little discounts on, so you don't need a discount code from me. And on that note, let's dive into plumbing in a Kia Sorento based 32 Ford hot rod. So this is what the rad looks like without the grille shell on, gives you a bit of a better idea of the size of it. Fortunately, it's sort of, these tabs happen to be the same width as the frame we'd made, so it just sort of slid over the top. It's got some little support legs underneath here, just to sit on those, so it's not actually all sat on the side brackets. Like I say, see, they just sort of slid over the top of the frame perfect. We didn't use the top ones, we cut those off. We didn't think we'd need them, and then up here we've got a bracket. Up here we've got a bracket that's welded onto the frame here, and it's just down onto this bracket of the rad. Normally the radiator is sort of supported and it would come sort of back to the body here on a diagonal, back to sort of like these, but instead of these going to the edges, they go to the centre on a proper Model A. We've chosen to do it like put the bracket there because it was just seemed to make more sense and was a bit easier, as we'd already got supports here. On the originals, the grille shell mounts to the rad, and then the rad is bolted to the chassis and then supported at the top by the 2 bars, as I mentioned earlier. So yeah, this is the rad. It wasn't going to break the bank. It was it was one of the cheaper options, but hopefully will do the job nicely, and is designed for a 32 Ford with a Chevy V8, so should have plenty of cooling capacity. The plan is once we get a bit nearer the finish, we'll obviously remove the cardboard off the back that's just protecting it and fit a nice big electric fan so that we don't have to run the sort of mechanical fan that lives on the engine to hopefully keep the temperatures down in good old English traffic. So with one side of the radiator plumbed in, we used these elbows and the straight pieces to work out roughly what we needed for this side. So we now go from 45 to 35 on this elbow into 2 35 elbows that go under the pulley of the power steering pump down here, and then comes up and joins into the block there. So in theory, this bit of the engine, this radiator and up to here, so the water is plumbed in. The next job is down here behind the engine. This is one of the outlet ports for the heater core from the Kia, and with the engine being moved back, it is now too close to the bulkhead. So what I'm doing is just cutting a section out of the steel to give enough relief for a silicone elbow to then pass the pipe across the gearbox and up the other side to the ports of where the heater matrix outlets are. So we're using a Morris Ital heater box, not sure if I said or not before. So what I've done, we've taken the lid off, so the fan sits on here and blows the air down. I've modified and made my own brackets and then welded them on. These are the old ones, very similar, but these need to be a bit deeper to clear some of the bulkhead stuff. And then this is the heater core itself. We've taken it out, flushed it through with some water, check it's not leaking, and it seems okay. So, and it's also helped flush out any old crud that was sitting in there from sitting a little while. And then once we've got this located and sort of plumbed in, we'll work on making a lid that's maybe slightly slimmer profile and takes the air from somewhere else compared to what the original did.
12 seconds later.
These are the bits that are going to make up the heater box for the hot rod. We've got the heater box core from Yellow Peril, as well as the fan and the air filter housing. So what the plan is this, which was a flat piece of steel, is now a right angled donut, which I'm pretty pleased with because I've not really done anything like that before. So that goes on there. The motor then goes in here, sort of, and then that'll go on top. Just the only reason we've used the air filter housing is actually it was quite an easy, it's a good size. We just made that lip to step it up a bit, and it just looks a bit neater. I wanted it to look fairly neat and sort of give myself a bit of a challenge, and then that lid sits on top of the box there. So this is what the heater box will look like. I've just mocked it up. I haven't welded anything yet. Once I've welded it, I'll clean it up, paint it, and then work out where to put the ports on the air filter housing. So I started getting the heater mounted up to the bulkhead on the hot rod. So put a hole saw through here, and then what I plan to do is get the air saw and just cut a slot so that both the ports on the heater matrix fit through the bulkhead, and these are the two bolt holes here. And then once that's done, that's the heater pretty much mounted and ready to go, ready to get plumbed in. And then what we'll do is rerun this, so this bypass coolant line will plumb it to go onto the end of the heater, and then that should be the water system plugged up. Got a reducer from 20 to 16 because the 16 is the same size as the ports on the heater box, so you need a reducer. Now it comes out through here, however the hoses obviously go on the pipes, and as you can see there's not quite enough clearance here, and with that green line that's where we plan to cut it out to, and then that should hopefully give us clearance for stuff moving, any Jubilee clips and anything like that, stop them clattering against the bulkhead. And then if push comes to shove in, we need to seal it. Well, we will need to seal it, but we can either make a decorative panel to go over the top or some sort of large rubber piece to seal it against the bulkhead. Down the back there we have fitted the reducer and some of the hose. We'll work out the routing in a bit, but right now I'm going to focus on getting that cut, and then I will be working on, we need to get the pipe to go from up here, along here, down here, and then somehow join onto here. So there's a few options, and we'll probably somewhat make a plan as we go, but for now let's just focus on getting this cut out, ready to then refit the heater box. So carrying on connecting the heater, as you can see, got working across, so we've got one side up and across into the heater matrix. This side, this one, will, as you can see, is a bit floppy, so I think before I go too further I'm probably going to make some brackets or something to support this and stop it floating all over the place. And then this will eventually join into the, you can see there, that hose comes under and it'll go under and join up onto the bottom of there. And then that is the cooling system all plumbed in. Yeah. So once you've made the cardboard template of the panel you want to fit, the next step is to just weld it into the car. Okay, so cardboard, not really the most practical material for holding water pipes. So what we've actually got is this panel that we've made. We've put beads in it just to give it a bit of stiffness. And on the back side there are some P-clips holding the hoses that go from the heater core back to the engine, vice versa. The reason it's this shape and stuff is I wanted to make something that wasn't just some tabs for the P-clips to bolt to. I wanted it to have a bit of a look to it. I mean, you're probably not going to see this as you'll have a bonnet side that goes along there, but I just like to do things a bit different, and I like making panels, so it gives me a bit of chance to just get more practice. The more you make, the more you learn, and so that's on, so we can just carry on with plumbing the rest of the engine. So that concludes part 1 of Plumbing in Project Culture Shock. There are links in the description of parts or supplies that we've used to get this far. Again, massive thanks to Auto Silicon Hoses for all their help with finding the right elbows and things like that. And if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, hitting the like button, hitting the notification bell, and getting involved, commenting, and having a discussion in the comment section. Again, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in part 2. So the next job on the list is to sort out all of this noodly spaghetti mess of the power steering pipes. Please like and subscribe and hit the notifications bell to stay up to date with the latest episodes of The Build.